simply say, I'm going to sell cars online. I'm not going to sell cars any other way. If I did that, then I'm missing another opportunity. And so are there people that want to buy cars eyeball to eyeball, in person, in the showroom? What is that opportunity? I really don't know. Maybe 30% want to buy in person, 70% want to buy online. Let's go with that number. We better get darn good at selling cars online with those numbers. But are you going to eliminate 30% arbitrarily? Not me. I need those 30%. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're in the business world and you cut out 30% of your market, you'll go broke. How you can be the greatest salesperson on the planet.
Welcome to the Rethink Sales Show. My name is Derek Kelly. I am joined by Jim Shorkey. And Jim, I noticed that in the car industry, since I find it fascinating, there are some dealerships and some brands that are selling directly to consumer and they cut out the salesperson. What are your thoughts on that? As someone who's an advocate for salespeople, as a salesperson myself, I really value that. What do you think of that?
I think that I believe in the free market. Mm-hmm. I do. And the law of supply and demand. Mm-hmm. I believe in that. And I think that we need to leave that alone. Mm-hmm. Okay. So there are people in the world who like to buy a car without talking to a salesperson. Mm-hmm. Tesla comes to mind. Mm-hmm. They've been very successful with that. Hard to argue with success. And in our world, we are big believers in salespeople, and our clients are as well. And so within that formula of salespeople on the showroom floor selling cars, there is an element within that framework of dealers who do business online, not to cut out the salespeople. I hope not, at least. I'm not a fan of that kind of thinking. Mm-hmm. But where there is an opportunity, we got to meet the customer where they want to be met. Mm-hmm. And so if they really do want to buy a car online without a salesperson, then as owners, we owe it to these clients to make that happen.
That's right.
So we have an element in our business. Now, I'm retired, so I'm not involved at all. We have an element in our business where we do sales online, work it all out, and the client comes in and they pick up the car. We also have an element in our business where the client just comes into the dealership randomly and they say, I'm here to look at a car. And we do that. And so why can't we do both? Yeah, why can't we have an element that where we're doing business online and we're talking to clients in that fashion and they're happy and we're doing business eyeball to eyeball? Let's be careful that we don't denigrate the salespeople. Mm-hmm. They're great people. We have male, female, old, young. They're great people. And there are a substantial number of people in the United States of America who want to buy a car in that manner. And as entrepreneurs, our job, okay, now let's really go slow here. As an entrepreneur, my job is to find a need in the marketplace. Once I find that need, my job as an entrepreneur is to fulfill that need in the most efficient manner possible. And so with that in mind, if a client wants to buy a car online, that is a need. My job is to see what I can do to make that happen. If the client wants to buy the car in person on the showroom floor, my job as an entrepreneur is to do everything I can to make that happen in the most efficient manner possible. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you think everybody wants to buy a car online, then you're making a mistake. And if you think everybody wants to come into the dealership and buy a car that way, you're making a mistake. The bottom line is we have a clothing store, right? Mm-hmm. And we have a client that comes in and wants to buy a sport coat. Why are you selling them a suit? Mm-hmm. They didn't ask you for a suit. They want a sport coat. They said they wanted black. You're selling them green. They said they wanted dress shirts. You're selling them casual shirts. They said they wanted casual shirts. You're selling them dress shirts. Your job as an entrepreneur is to figure out what the client wants and then provide it in the most efficient manner possible. And of course, charge for it. So I think it's a In all due respect, Derek, I think it's a dumb question. I think it's irrelevant. How does the customer want to buy a car? What can we do
Let's
to get there?
serve them. Yeah, brilliant.
That's real customer service. How does the client want to buy the car, the house, whatever the case may be? We're talking the marketplace. And if there's enough demand for the online approach, I would say you better get to work on it. And if there's enough demand for the in-showroom experience, you better get to work on it. And you better make sure your processes are really good on both sides of that equation. And if they are really good, you're going to become really attractive to the client. You're going to build incredible value, and you're going to sell some stuff.
Yep.
And isn't that what we're here to do?
Exactly.
Sell some stuff.
Exactly.
Answer your question?
Yeah, brilliantly. You talked about both angles, right?
Yeah.
Because, that question came up because somebody commented, they watched one of our videos and said, you guys are replaced. People don't need sales folks anymore. And it's, hold on a second.
Yeah. Not true.
I don't know if I'd want to buy a car online. It's like buying a house online. I'd want to see it.
It's
I'd
just
want
not
to
true.
touch.
We got to be careful with absolutes. An absolute that is true, okay, is the law of gravity. That bugger's true. When you're 4 stories up and you jump off, you're going down, you're going to get hurt. But people don't want to buy a car that way, and you know this how.
Yeah. Right.
How do you know this? Okay. Are there people that don't want to buy a car in the traditional way? Absolutely.
Sure.
Is it a big number? I don't. I'm retired. I retired in 2016. Is it a big number? I really don't know. I guarantee my kids know.
Yep.
So if that number is big enough, that's the law of supply and demand. Okay. There's a demand for it. Well, as entrepreneurs, our job is to satisfy that
That's
demand.
right. So then you figure out a strategy.
The
We need a
law-
website. We need e-commerce. We need
That's exactly right. So I really do believe in my intuitive heart
Yeah.
that there's room for both.
Absolutely.
There's room for both. And that's that's how I would choose to run my business today.
Yep.
I would get very serious about the online experience, and I would coach and teach and coach and teach and train, and we get real good at that. But we don't want to neglect that client who's coming in
That's right.
to the showroom who wants to buy a car in the traditional way. Should we really? Let's get graphic here. We have a veteran gets out of his car. He's in a wheelchair and he wants to buy a car the conventional way because that's how his dad did it. And that's how
What are you going to
he's
say?
always
Go
done it.
online? Sorry, we don't do that here.
Some people do that. And they're just bad entrepreneurs. So I'm just making a point. Do we really turn away this veteran? Do we really turn away this? The older clientele, I would guess intuitively, probably wants to buy a car the conventional way,
Yeah.
percentage wise, higher than the younger person.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So-
I'm a younger guy who values a lot of online stuff. I build a lot of
Agreed.
websites, and I still,
yeah, agreed.
I
I
still
think
would,
we can do both. That's my answer to your question. I think we can do both.
yeah, good stuff, Jim. Thank you, Jim. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please comment, subscribe, join in this conversation. We love your comments. That's why we even address the ones where people are like, "What is Jim talking about?" I disagree. We address those comments sometimes in full-fledged
Oh,
videos.
absolutely. Well, you can disagree. You can disagree. That's okay. Disagreement is it's what we live on. Disagreement. We can disagree, and we can make point counterpoint. And maybe I won't come your way. Maybe you won't come my way. So then we agree to disagree. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Can't always agree, for crying out loud. That's one of the problems that I see in the world at large, to a degree. Is this if we disagree? Oh, we got to become arch enemies. We can't talk. We can't have Thanksgiving dinner anymore. Like, really?
Yeah.
We just disagree. That's all. I don't agree with that. You say up, I say down. Whatever the case may be. We just disagree. It's okay. I love you. I love you. Let's just agree to disagree. And it may be that you have a very strong opinion about online selling. I love you. It may be that you have a very strong opinion about selling in person. I love you. I think there's room for both.
Yep, I
That's
agree.
what I'm going to say.
Yes.